Hello, everyone. Today is July 3rd, and I'm on a break in between some classes. I still have several students that are taking their final exams for the year, so my schedule is a little bit wonky, which is actually good for you because it gives me time to make these videos. I typically hate making videos unless I've got a full face of my VIPKID makeup on, which is still pretty minimal. So once I'm done for the day, I scrub my face off and then I don't want to make any videos after that point. So this works out well for all of us. So last night, Megan Brundridge, who's a member of our awesome Facebook private coaching group, asked about verbal student output. She said, or SVO, student verbal output. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been doing this for a long time and I've never heard of that acronym. Okay, we don't use that acronym typically, but we talk a lot about student output, specifically as it relates to teacher output. I find myself sometimes struggling with this with my older students because I like to talk a lot and I like to explain things. But the parents do not pay for us to be saying wah 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 wah. No matter how profound our discussion is, they want to hear their students speaking English as much as possible, as early as possible in their learning experience with VIPKid. So we start out the lower levels 1, 2, and 3, with a 50-50 student to teacher speaking ratio. And basically that means they are going to be either repeating you word for word, or they're going to be answering questions using short, specific sentence frames. So for instance, I might say, what color do you see? And with TPR, depending on the student, what color do you see? What color? And in that case, I'm looking for that student to say, I see black, or I see the color black. Very simple sentence frames. You can repeat yourself and use a lot of encouragement with your TPR to get those words out of your student. You can do a lot of this. I see black. This means repeat. I see black. I see black. Good. You're keeping it as close to 50-50 as you can. Remember from some of the other videos and studying, I hope you've done, we don't introduce themes, we don't introduce slides or explain games. We go right into the instructional TPR. Draw a line can easily become later in the lesson. Once they associate this, or this with instructions, you speak less and less. And it's the we do, or I'm sorry, I do, we do, you do handoff. Now, in the upper levels, as you start to get into the end of Unit 3, Unit 4, or not Unit 3, Level 3, 4, and higher, it needs to be a 70-30 student ratio. That means you got to try to keep your mouth shut. There's a lot of reading that amps up that student participation. They should be reading almost everything. So almost every slide you go into, please read, or you don't need to use as much TPR with a higher level student. You don't have to do a lot of this and this. They don't need as much encouragement, some of them. I guess, some of them do. Tailor everything to the student. There are definitely higher level students that maybe shouldn't necessarily be in that level, and you have to have more redo instead of just saying, please read, or when they have maybe a list of questions or fill in the blanks, you can just put a little hash mark next to one, and then two, and then three. You can use brackets to indicate what you want them to read. Every student is a little different, and you are going to find your own style as well. They don't need quite as much goofy encouragement, but remember, they're still kids. They still want encouragement. So when there's something funny that you're reading or they're doing a great job, let them know. They will appreciate it. I don't think in their large classrooms with their strict schools that they get a lot of that immediate positive feedback, and it can really help them open up. So that's kind of the basics of how these ratios need to work in your teaching. In your intro or your interview and your demo, you're going to teach a level 2 student who's about 6 years old. They will have some familiarity with English, and your interviewer is going to give back to you. Now, they might play a little hard to get, a little bit, to see how you encourage them and how you get the student's attention, but they're not going to ignore you for 25 minutes, or actually however many minutes your demo lesson is, okay? So don't worry, their job is to interact. In your mock class, your mock 1, you're going to teach a 14-minute class to a level 2, and then you're going to teach a 10-minute class to about a level 3-4. Now keep in mind, they both might be 6 years old. Please do not assume that a higher level means a 10 or 12-year-old. They have better English skills, they have better fluency, but you can have a 12-year-old in a level 2. Usually they're not too happy about it. You can have a 6-year-old in a level 6, and they have reading and discussion, and they're 6 years old, but maybe they lived in an English-speaking country, or maybe they go to an English-speaking school, so they just speak better. So you have to be aware of that. Tailor everything you do to each individual student, and you'll figure out within the first couple of slides kind of where they're at. It won't be too difficult, trust me. Give it a week of teaching and you'll be a pro. So Megan was kind of asking, what about those quiet students? And yes, we have some quiet students. My advice is the best thing you can do is try to get to know that student and be patient. The most important quality that VIPKID parents are looking for is patience. When you're listening, don't turn away like this and look that way. When you're listening, maintain your eye contact with the student. Watch their face. Are they processing, or are they completely blank? They have no idea what you're saying, and you need to do some TPR, or you need to slow down. Okay? But are they processing? If they are, do you see what I'm doing? I'm not speaking very loudly, but I'm kind of giving my TPR of encouragement, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for them to formulate that response. They have to translate what you're saying from Chinese to English. They have to formulate their response. They have to think about what's that response in English. Then they have to get up the courage sometimes to spit it out for you. So the best thing you can do is be patient. If you have a really shy student who's very young, maybe doesn't understand question and answer yet, this is where your puppets are invaluable. So when I'm saying, what's your name? And I do some TPR with that. I've just introduced myself as Teacher Britt. What's your name? And I get nothing back. Puppet. This is Meow Meow. Hello, Meow Meow. Hello, teacher. Can you say hello? Hello. What's your name? My name is Meow Meow. Hello, Meow Meow. Hmm, what's your name? Do you see that they can get a sense that there needs to be some back and forth? And sometimes you might teach a young student your whole class with a puppet because even if they can see your lips moving, they will focus on that puppet and it can help them open up and have some fun, right? Hey, bye. Okay? You don't have to be a ventriloquist, but get yourself a puppet. I'm telling you, there are certain classes where it will save your life. Okay? Now, with the older students, some are just very serious, and some you have to really pull. Come on, complete sentences. When they give you one word answers, you can start doing this. With a level 4, they know that you want those sentences. Sometimes they're shy. I have girls that take several classes and have really begun to open up to me. Sometimes it's all about having a sense of humor. Sometimes you need to say, it's okay to be wrong. If you don't know, say, I don't know, and I will help you. Um, you really, as with all teaching, you teach to the student, not the lesson, not the age, not the expectation. You have to meet them where they are. And it starts to really come naturally to you. Like I said, within a week or two, you'll start to really feel the differences and the different personalities. You'll start to get to know your students and you'll start to learn what draws them out. In my opinion, laughter is always good. So I hope that I have covered this topic for you, Megan, adequately, and for everyone else that wants to share this knowledge and view this video. I find it one of the challenges of teaching with VIP Kid, but it's also one of the most rewarding things in teaching is to watch those students blossom and open up and watch their voices come out, watch their sentences get longer and their eye contact get better. It's just a fabulous feeling. So by the way, I wanted to also mention that Miss Megan is going to become a VIP Kid teacher. She's also becoming a Tinkergarten teacher as well, and that's kind of very similar to Forest School. A lot of the members in our group are wild schoolers looking for ways to support their homeschool environment or their wild schooling, and Tinkergarten can be a fantastic way to do that while earning some money, creating the lifestyle that you want. If you're interested in that, reach out to Megan and maybe she can get you some tips or she can tell you what it's all about. So, thank you for joining me today and please participate in our Facebook group. Make sure you set it as one of your favorite groups so that you see the notifications when we post new information. Get your interview scheduled, guys. Be brave. Be brave. You have nothing to lose. Okay? Goodbye and thank you again from Teacher Britt.